Yahshua stood on that mountain. A crowd gathered before him. He began to speak. His words were simple yet powerful. They were words of hope, words of challenge, words that would echo through eternity. This became known as the Sermon on the Mount. It's one of the most important teachings in the Christian faith. It's a blueprint for living a life pleasing to Yahweh. It's a call to be different, to stand out, to reflect his love. In this sermon, Yahshua shared the Beatitudes. These are 8 declarations of blessing. They paint a picture of what it means to live a life of true righteousness. The Beatitudes are not just for religious scholars, they're for everyday people like you and me. They offer practical guidance for navigating life's challenges. They remind us that true happiness isn't found in worldly possessions or achievements. It's found in a deep and abiding relationship with Yahweh. To understand the impact of the Beatitudes, we need to step back in time. Imagine the world Yahshua lived in. It was a time of Roman rule and social unrest. People longed for a Messiah, a deliverer. Life was hard for many. Poverty and injustice were commonplace. People were often marginalized and oppressed. The religious leaders of the day were often more concerned with outward appearances than with true spirituality. Into this world, Yahshua brought a message of hope and radical love. His teachings challenged the status quo. He spoke out against hypocrisy and called for compassion. He reached out to the outcasts and offered them forgiveness. The Beatitudes were revolutionary. They turned the world's definition of blessedness on its head. The world said, "Blessed are the rich, the powerful, the popular." But Yahshua said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." The world chases after material possessions, status and fleeting pleasures. But Yahshua offered a different path. He taught that true happiness is found in humility, in seeking righteousness, in showing mercy. This was a radical shift in perspective. Yahshua was saying that true blessedness isn't about what you have, but about who you are. It's not about your circumstances, but about the condition of your heart. The Beatitudes aren't just nice sayings, they are powerful declarations that reveal the heart of Yahweh. They point us to the reality of his kingdom, a kingdom not of this world, but a kingdom that resides within our hearts. When Yahshua said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yahweh," he was speaking of a spiritual vision. A heart cleansed by Yahweh's grace can perceive his presence in all things. The Beatitudes challenge us to live differently. They call us to be peacemakers in a world filled with conflict. They call us to be merciful, to forgive others, just as Yahweh has forgiven us. They remind us that true joy is found not in self-indulgence, but in selflessness. Let's focus on one beatitude in particular. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of Yahweh. In a world torn apart by division and strife, this message is more relevant than ever. We live in a society that often glorifies conflict and competition. But Yahshua calls us to be bridge builders, to be reconcilers. He calls us to be instruments of his peace. Peacemaking isn't passive. It's not about avoiding conflict at all costs. It's about actively seeking reconciliation, about standing up for justice, about being a voice for the voiceless. The Beatitudes have resonated with people throughout history. They have inspired social reformers, artists, and countless individuals seeking a better way to live. Their message of hope and compassion transcends time and culture. The Beatitudes are not just ancient words. They are living words that speak to our hearts today. They offer guidance for navigating the complexities of modern life. In a world obsessed with self-promotion and instant gratification, the Beatitudes call us to humility and patience. In a culture driven by fear and division, they call us to love our neighbors, even those who are different from us. Living the Beatitudes is a daily choice. It's about aligning our hearts and minds with Yahweh's will. It's about reflecting his love and compassion in all we do. The impact of the Beatitudes extends far beyond our personal lives. These teachings have the power to transform communities and even nations. When people embrace the values of the Beatitudes, we see positive change happen all around us. Imagine a world where governments made decisions based on compassion and justice. Imagine a world where businesses operated with integrity and fairness. Imagine a world where individuals treated each other with kindness and respect. This is the kind of world the Beatitudes can help us create. It starts with each one of us, making the choice to live out these principles in our own lives. One of the most challenging aspects of the Beatitudes is the call to forgive. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy, Yahshua said. Forgiveness can be difficult, especially when we've been deeply hurt. But forgiveness is not about condoning wrong behavior. It's about releasing the bitterness and resentment that can poison our hearts. It's about choosing to love, even when it's hard. When we forgive others, we open ourselves up to receive Yahweh's forgiveness. We break free from the chains of the past and step into a future filled with hope and healing. The Beatitudes are a beacon of light in a world often shrouded in darkness. They remind us that even in the midst of challenges, there is always hope. They point us to the path of righteousness, a path that leads to true and lasting happiness. As we seek to live out these timeless teachings, we become agents of change. We bring light and hope into a world that desperately needs it. We reflect the very heart of Yahweh, and in doing so we discover the true meaning of blessedness, Yahweh Shalom.